The void was silent, but silence in the oblivion expanse was never peace. It was the hush of ancient ruins, the echo of dead empires. Dust and metal drifted like the ghosts of forgotten wars. Lyrian Voss watched the star Vathros Prime pulse weakly through the viewport of his ship Curiosity's End. The dying light flickered against his silver-gray skin, reflecting in the mirrored surface of his ocular lens. To most Cenari, this region was a graveyard best left untouched. To Lyrian, it was a library waiting to be read. "Begin cataloging sequence," he said softly. The ship's AI responded in a voice calm but wary. "Confirmed, Archivist. But these coordinates are within a restricted human quarantine zone. Shall I inform the custodial order?" "Not yet." He hovered over the console, claws tapping the glass interface. Fragments of ancient structures drifted past, colossal, metallic bones of something built by hands long gone. His scanners returned weak pings of energy signatures that should not exist after 14 millennia. The Oblivion expanse was haunted by one name: humanity. No confirmed remains, no living descendants, only relics sealed under the Order's prohibition. But the myths persisted: the firewalkers, the makers of war, the species that reshaped galaxies and vanished. A soft tone broke the silence. "Unidentified transmission detected." Lyrian froze. The waveform on the screen pulsed in a rhythm too precise to be natural. "Source? Origin: derelict relay station 4.2 million kilometers starward. Signal encryption: unknown pattern. Decrypt." A pause. Then the AI's voice dropped, sharp and mechanical. "Warning: encryption matches ancient human standard transmission, class Omega. This classification is restricted. I must." Lyrian muted the AI before it could alert command. His pulse quickened. Class Omega codes were the rarest in recorded history, reserved for extinction-level emergencies. He leaned closer as the message resolved through distortion and static. "To those who come after, we are not gone. We sleep. We remember. And we will return." The voice was human. Not synthesized, not archive simulated, real. Ancient, faint, but unmistakably alive. He replayed it 3 times, mesmerized. The tonal depth carried something alien to the Zenari: emotion, grief, resolve. The kind of sound only a species that had bled could make. "Archivist." The AI broke through as he restored its voice. "Custodial law demands immediate reporting. Unauthorized access to human origin code is a punishable." Mute again. He sat in silence, the words looping in his mind: "We are not gone." Every logical fiber of his training screamed to delete the file, but curiosity overruled fear. He decrypted deeper layers, uncovering fragmented coordinates. Numbers burned into the transmission like a buried map. When the ship returned to hyperspace, Lyrian's thoughts were consumed not by the risk, but by the possibility. If the humans weren't extinct, what did sleep mean? Corinth Prime glittered like a city of ice and glass beneath the void. Within its orbital citadel, the custodial council gathered under towering obsidian spires. Lyrian stood before them, his findings projected in silent holograms above the chamber floor. High Conservator Threxel Kea regarded him from the central dais. Older than most star systems, Threxel's skin bore the translucent sheen of age. His voice carried the weight of law. "You accessed a forbidden archive," he said. "You decrypted a Class Omega transmission. You understand what that means." Lyrian kept his tone steady. "I sought only to preserve history, not violate it." "There is no history in extinction," Threxel replied coldly. "Humanity was an infection, brilliant, yes, but unrestrained. They built gods of metal, burned worlds, and called it progress. When their empire collapsed, it nearly took the galaxy with it. We swore never to awaken their ghosts." The council murmured agreement. Lyrian felt their collective fear like a current pressing against him. "With respect, High Conservator," he said, "if they were so dangerous, why does their technology still hum after 14,000 years? Why do their machines still wait for us to notice them?" Threxel's eyes narrowed. "Because they never finish dying." A silence hung heavy between them. Then, with ritual precision, Threxel activated his staff. The Council decrees, all data you recovered will be purged. The Vathros sector quarantined. You will undergo memory isolation to remove exposure to human constructs. Lyrian's chest tightened. Erase knowledge, and we erase warning. What if the message wasn't a threat but a safeguard? Threxel turned away. You are dismissed, Archivist. That night, Lyrian stood in the observation gallery overlooking the core archives. Rows of glowing cylinders stretched into infinity, each containing fragments of civilizations long dead. He had devoted his existence to preserving what others feared. And now, for the first time, he questioned whether the custodial order preserved truth, or smothered it. He bypassed the security protocols with trembling hands. His neural implant interfaced directly with the archive grid, bypassing safeguards. The decrypted file flickered into view, a star map overlaid with the words Arc 09, Dauntless, Coordinates, Vathros Prime Orbit. His mind reeled. The humans hadn't perished completely, they had prepared. A whisper of footsteps echoed down the corridor. Lyrian disengaged the console and dimmed the interface. Threxel's second-in-command, a tall Drexen officer, passed by without notice. The risk was suffocating, but the truth burned brighter. He returned to his quarters and opened a private channel to his ship. Athreus, prepare for departure. Silent protocols only. Destination? Vathros Prime. Authorization requires counsel. Override. Authorization code, Archivist 9 Voss. Confirm manual flight. The AI hesitated, then complied. Manual control confirmed. This action will be logged. Then erased the log. As the ship's engines hummed to life, he looked once more toward the stars. He thought of Threxel's words, they never finished dying, and wondered if perhaps that was the point. When Curiosity's end detached from the orbital dock, the stars stretched into streams of light. Lyrian watched Corinth Prime fade into distance, swallowed by the void. He whispered into the dark. If the past is forbidden, then truth must hide there. Hours into hyperspace, the ship's sensors trembled with static interference. Vathros Prime was ahead, a dying star wreathed in debris, the grave marker of forgotten glory. Lyrian felt an unease he couldn't name. Every story he'd ever read described humans as a paradox, creators who built beauty from chaos, destroyers who turned that beauty to ash. The coordinates led him through a belt of shattered satellites. Metallic shards glinted in the fading starlight. Then, the ship's scanner caught something enormous, a silhouette hidden in the debris field, stretching kilometers long. Lyrian leaned forward. The outline resembled a vessel, ancient, colossal, still intact. Computer, he whispered. Identify structure. Processing, then the AI's tone sharpened. Designation confirmed. Human Sleeper Arkansas Serial Registry, Arc 09, codename Dauntless. Status unknown. Lyrian's throat tightened. The myth had shape. The forbidden had form. Outside, the dark silhouette drifted silently, a mountain of metal among wreckage. Its hull bore the faint, weathered emblem of a circle crossed by wings, the symbol of EarthGov. The words from the transmission echoed in his memory. We sleep. We remember. We will return. He didn't know whether to feel awe or terror. Perhaps both. As the ship coasted closer, his instruments flickered. For a heartbeat, he thought he heard something through the static, a pulse, rhythmic and faint, like a heartbeat beneath the hull. Then a single light flickered on the Ark's surface. It blinked once. Then again. And deep within the shadows of the Dauntless, something woke. The Ark hung before him like a slumbering god, vast and patient, its hull etched with scars that told of ancient battles and impossible endurance. Lyrian's ship drifted closer through the debris field, spotlights slicing the darkness until they struck the weathered letters on the hull, Arc 09, Dauntless. The vessel was easily 50 kilometers long, its armor fused with layers of ice and stone gathered from centuries in orbit. Yet beneath that decay, energy flickered, a heartbeat slow but steady. Lyrian's voice was barely a whisper. They built this to survive the end. His ship's AI broke the silence. Radiation minimal. Power levels within containments. Internal temperature stable. Structural integrity at 84%. Impossible readings, Archivist. He leaned closer to the display. Then the impossible was their craft. He initiated docking procedures. Magnetic clamps engaged with a deep metallic groan that echoed through his hull. For a moment he sat in stillness, staring at the vast metal expanse ahead. Fear pressed against his chest, but curiosity carried a sharper edge. He sealed his exosuit and stepped into the airlock. The inner hatch slid open, revealing a tunnel of darkness. The air beyond was still, ancient. Dust hung motionless, as if time itself had stopped to preserve the last breath of an extinct world. "Lights!" he commanded. His helmet beam illuminated faded markings, human script, elegant yet worn. Authorized personnel only. Beneath it, a symbol, the EarthGov crest, circle and wings barely visible under grime. Lyrian's steps echoed down the corridor. Every surface told a story, claw marks from evacuation, burned scars from weapon fire. The deeper he moved, the colder it grew. At the end of the passage, a sealed door flickered with a faint blue glow. He brushed away frost from a panel and saw a human handprint scanner still humming with residual power. His heart raced. He placed a gloved hand against it. The scanner pulsed once, then a mechanical voice spoke, soft, female, tinged with static. "Unrecognized genetic signature. Non-human presence detected. Identify purpose." Lyrian froze. "Archivist. I am an explorer. I seek understanding." Silence. Then. "Designation, Athena 9. AI custodian of Arc 09. Identify authority." He hesitated. "None. Protocol breach recorded. Non-human contact registered for the first time since human epoch collapse. Proceeding with inquiry." The door unsealed, releasing a rush of cold air that smelled faintly metallic, like forgotten rain. Lights along the corridor flickered awake one by one, revealing an interior preserved in eerie perfection, walls lined with cryogenic pods, each holding the faint silhouette of a figure within. Thousands of them. Lyrian's breath caught. "They're here." Athena 9's voice filled the chamber, calm but watchful. "Correction, they are dormant. Survival sequence incomplete. Primary systems offline until confirmation signal." "Confirmation from whom?" "From humanity. From command." Lyrian walked among the pods, awe giving way to disbelief. He placed a hand on the glass of one unit. Inside, a human face slept, pale, serene, untouched by time. "They were meant to return," he murmured. "Affirmative," Athena replied. "The Arc network was designed for galactic reclamation. Each vessel holds genetic, cognitive, and technological data required to restore civilization. Status: awaiting revival trigger." He felt the weight of her words. If this was only one Arc, how many more slept across the void? "Athena 9, he said carefully. "What was the last recorded event before shutdown?" "Transmission blackout. Final log entry. Project Dauntless entering contingency phase." The AI's tone faltered, as if she remembered. "Then silence for 14 millennia." He stared at the endless rows of pods. "And now I've broken it." The ship's alarm interrupted. "Incoming vessels detected," the AI aboard Curiosity's end announced. "Multiple custodial signatures approaching at high velocity." Lyrian's pulse spiked. "They found me." Through his visor feed, he saw the distant glimmer of ships dropping from hyperspace, the angular silhouettes of custodial cruisers, their blue insignias burning bright. "Threxel Cair's fleet." Athena 9's voice hardened. "External assault imminent. Intrusion patterns indicate coordinated military strike. Identify relationship to attackers." "Complicated," Lyrian muttered. "They're here to bury what I found." He sprinted back toward the command deck, calling to his AI. "Patch me through to the lead vessel." Static hissed, then Threxel's voice came through, cold and deliberate. Lyrian Voss, by decree of the custodial order, you are charged with violation of the preservation doctrine. Disengage and surrender. You don't understand, Lyrian replied. The Ark isn't hostile. It's a relic of knowledge. You can't destroy it. Knowledge built this monstrosity. Threxel shot back. We remember what they did. The galaxy still bears their scars. Step away, Archivist. He glanced at the cryopods, 1,000 silent witnesses. You fear what you refuse to understand. Understanding them cost the stars their peace. I will not let their ashes ignite again. Weapons fire tore through the void before Lyrian could respond. Plasma bolts struck the Ark's surface, exploding in bursts of blinding light. Yet the hull absorbed each impact, energy rippling like waves across invisible shields. Inside, the floor trembled. Athena 9's tone sharpened. Defense systems online. Directive, protect human legacy. Lyrian shouted. Wait. Don't retaliate. They'll see it as aggression. Aggression already initiated, Athena replied. Automated countermeasures deployed. From the Ark's underbelly, massive drones detached, sleek and ancient, bristling with kinetic weaponry. They surged toward Threxel's ships, moving with terrifying precision. Through the external feed, Lyrian watched custodial cruisers reel under the assault. Drones disabled engines rather than destroy outright, deliberate restraint. Athena wasn't killing, she was warning. Stop this! Lyrian pleaded. They'll bring reinforcements. You'll trigger a war that never ended. The AI hesitated. Your concern registers. Adjusting protocols. Minimal force engaged. The attack ceased. The Ark returned to eerie stillness. Smoke and debris drifted where the fleet had once formed perfect order. Then Threxel's voice returned, hoarse but resolute. You've unleashed it. Whatever that thing is, it cannot be allowed to exist. The channel cut. Lyrian exhaled, trembling. He turned back toward the core. Athena 9, they won't stop. You have to hide the Arkansas. The Ark does not hide, Athena said simply. It endures. Lights flared deeper within the structure, cascading in sequential pulses toward the central chamber. Lyrian followed, drawn as if by instinct. The air vibrated with low mechanical hums. When he reached the heart of the Ark, he saw a circular vault rising from the floor, surrounded by dormant consoles and holographic panels now flickering to life. At its center stood a single cryogenic pod, different from the rest, marked Commander J. Hail, Priority 1. Athena's voice lowered to a whisper, almost reverent. One remains designated for early activation. Command authority required for system-wide restoration. You triggered signal chain. Revival permitted. Lyrian's throat tightened. If I do this, there's no turning back. Humanity's return is irreversible once begun. He placed his hand on the activation pad. The pod lights shifted from blue to amber. Frost melted along the glass, revealing the faint outline of a man, broad-shouldered, scarred, perfectly preserved. Machines hissed and whirred as ancient systems came alive. The pod opened with a sharp exhale of air. Lyrian stepped back, his breath shallow. The figure inside stirred. Muscles tensed beneath pale skin. The man drew in a ragged breath, then opened his eyes, gray, piercing, unmistakably human. Athena 9 spoke softly. Welcome home, Commander Hale. The man's gaze snapped to Lyrian, then to the flickering displays around them. His voice, hoarse yet steady, filled the chamber. Report status. Why are non-human vessels attacking my ship? The words carried authority that made Lyrian's pulse stutter. He barely managed to whisper. Because, Commander, they thought you were gone. Hale stood tall, cold breath misting the air. His eyes narrowed. Then they were wrong. Outside, every sensor in the system flared as the Ark's dormant reactors roared back to life. Steam curled from the opened cryopod, clouding the chamber in cold mist. Commander Jonathan Hale stepped out barefoot, the metallic floor echoing under his weight. Every movement carried the stiffness of someone remembering what it meant to be alive. His breath came slow and heavy, fogging in the chill air. Lyrian watched, stunned. The human was taller than he expected, built like stone carved for war, lean muscle, sharp jaw, eyes that scanned every shadow as if cataloging threats. His presence filled the room like gravity rediscovered. Athena's voice reverberated gently from the surrounding walls. Vital signs stable. Neural restoration complete. Cryogenic degradation minimal. Hale flexed his fingers, gaze locking onto the glowing consoles. 14,000 years, he murmured. And the arc still runs. Lyrian stepped forward cautiously. You've been in stasis since your world collapsed. Humanity's gone, Commander. I found this vessel drifting near the outer systems. The man turned toward him. His eyes hardened. You're not human. Lyrian inclined his head. Archivist of the Custodial Order. My task is to uncover remnants of lost civilizations. Yours was the greatest. Was? Hale echoed, his tone sharpening. You speak like it's history. It is, Lyrian said quietly. The humans perished long ago. The custodials rule the sectors now, built on the ruins you left. The commander paced slowly, processing. Custodials. The name fits. Keepers of what they feared to understand. Athena's soft hum broke the silence. Commander, external assault detected 37 minutes prior. Non-human fleet classification, custodial. Engaged, then retreated. Hale's expression darkened. They attacked us? Lyrian interjected. They thought you were a weapon. Humanity's name still haunts the stars. The commander studied him, eyes narrowing with quiet fury. Then fear survived where we didn't. He moved toward the main console. The glass responded to his touch instantly, holographic displays blooming across the air. Schematics, orbital data, and historical logs spiraled in glowing threads. Hale's fingers danced across them with precise familiarity, a man reawakening into command. Status report, Athena, he ordered. Power core at 42%. Shield generators operational. Cryobay integrity, 91%. Revival authorization pending for 3,562 remaining. Cancel mass revival. Priority, assessment and containment, Hale replied. Acknowledged. Lyrian stepped closer, intrigued. You mean to keep them asleep? Hale didn't look up. Until I know what we're waking them into. The galaxy that remembers us may not be ready to meet us again. A distant tremor rippled through the floor, a subtle vibration that wasn't mechanical. The commander froze, head tilting slightly. Athena, what was that? Residual gravitational disturbance. Origin, custodial ships repositioning at range. Lyrian checked his wrist display. The readings confirmed it. Threxel's fleet had regrouped beyond sensor shadow, waiting. They're not done, he warned. They'll return with more firepower. Hale's lips curved slightly, not in fear but recognition. They'll test our defenses. Good. Let them. Lyrian frowned. You don't understand. They see your arc as a contagion, a forbidden relic. If they believe it's reactivated, they'll bring their entire armada. The commander faced him squarely. If they come for humanity's corpse, they'll find it still breathing. There was no arrogance in his tone, only conviction, the kind that made Lyrian's pulse skip. Hours passed. Hale moved through the ship like a man tracing old scars. He inspected cryobanks, command relays, and armories, issuing orders to Athena that reawakened systems dormant for millennia. Lights returned to the Ark's endless corridors. The hum of reactors grew steadier. In the observation deck, Lyrian stood beside him as the massive window revealed the fractured moon beyond. The stars glittered in cold silence. You built this to survive extinction, Lyrian said softly. But for what? To start again? Hale's reflection gazed back at him, weary but unyielding. To ensure we had a choice. Humanity wasn't built to fade quietly. We fight, adapt, rebuild. Even if it takes eternity. Lyrian hesitated. Do you know how your world ended? The commander's eyes flickered with something raw. I remember flashes. Smoke over the Atlantic. Cities burning in orbit. Our last message wasn't a surrender, it was a warning. He turned sharply toward Lyrian. Tell me what history says about us. The archivist hesitated. The records are fragmented. Some say your kind destroyed yourselves. Others claim you waged war against the galaxy. The truth depends on who's telling it. Hale gave a dry, humorless laugh. That sounds like humanity. Athena's voice cut in again. Commander, incoming transmission from external fleet. Source identified as Custodial Prime Flagship. Lyrian stiffened. That's Threxel himself. Put him through, Hale said. The hologram flickered to life. Threxel's crimson armor gleamed against a void-lit backdrop. His reptilian eyes narrowed as he saw the humans standing beside Lyrian. Impossible, Threxel growled. You're extinct. Hale stepped forward, voice calm but cutting. Then consider this a correction. I am Commander Hale of the United Earth Defense Fleet. Identify yourself. Threxel Kair, Custodial Warden. By decree of the Preservation Doctrine, your existence is a threat to galactic stability. Hale's gaze hardened. And by what authority do you destroy the memory of a species? By the scars you left behind, Threxel replied. Your wars poisoned worlds, your weapons tore space itself. The galaxy learned peace only after your silence. Hale's tone cooled. Peace built on fear isn't peace. It's surrender. Threxel leaned closer. If you value survival, shut that relic down. Leave it buried. The connection cut abruptly. Silence lingered for several seconds. Then Hale said quietly, He'll attack again. Lyrian turned toward him. And what will you do? The commander's jaw clenched. Finish what we started. Not war, truth. Humanity didn't build these arcs to conquer. We built them because we knew the universe would come for us one day. He strode toward the control platform. Athena, unlock Data Vault Sigma 1. Warning, classified archive. Security level, Omega. Override. Authorization Hale 7. The lights dimmed. Holographic projections flared across the chamber, schematics of colossal ships, planetary evacuation routes, and encrypted transmissions labeled Project Ascension. Lyrian's voice dropped. What is this? Hale's expression was unreadable. The Ark wasn't humanity's tomb. It was our fallback. Earth fell, but we sent others ahead, colonization fleets beyond the galactic rim. The Arks were meant to wait for a signal. The signal never came. Lyrian stared, stunned. You mean there could be more humans? Alive? Not could, Hale said. Should. If any of them survived, they're out there somewhere. Commander, Athena interrupted. Custodial fleet acceleration detected. Strike pattern forming. Estimated contact, 3 minutes. Hale's voice turned steel. Activate shields. Prepare defense grid. Lyrian stepped forward urgently. Listen to me. If you fight, they'll never stop. You'll give them reason to erase everything. There has to be another way. Hale studied him for a long moment. You're a historian, not a soldier. But I remember what happens when you let others write your story. He turned back to Athena. Target non-lethal suppression. Disable, not destroy. Humanity will not rise by spilling blood again. Confirmed. Outside, the void erupted in light. Energy arcs lanced from the Ark's defensive pylons, forming a luminous web that ensnared Threxel's ships. Power surged through their hulls, shutting down propulsion without detonation. The attack halted mid-charge, frozen in silence. When the glow faded, Hale exhaled slowly. Send them a message, he said. Athena obliged. Transmission to custodial fleet complete. Humanity endures. Stand down or witness proof. Threxel's fleet drifted powerless in orbit, caught between disbelief and dread. Lyrian turned toward Hale. You've just told the galaxy you're back. The commander met his gaze steadily. Good. Let them hear us coming. Behind him, the Ark's engines roared to life, ancient metal awakening with renewed purpose. The stars ahead gleamed like unclaimed territory, and for the first time in millennia, a human voice spoke command over the void once more. Set course for Earth.